Am I the asshole for not inviting my wife to my daughter's, her stepdaughter's, freshman college move-in? I'll try to give pertinent background info, but condense it. My ex-wife, 51F, and I, 50M, were married 18 years, right out of college. We had a good, functional, and loving marriage, but in the end, she decided it wasn't for her, and we amicably divorced. We had 2 kids, 18F and 19M. 6 months later, I met my current wife, 47F, and her son, 19M. We've now been married 8 years. She had a very tumultuous and abusive relationship with her ex. It's still volatile and she hates him, only dealing with him when needed. My ex and I have a great co-parenting relationship and are friends. We only talk about kid-related things, except at kid-related events where we make small talk. We don't communicate much outside of that. My current wife and ex were pleasant and professional for a while. Several years ago, I was venting about my ex traveling a lot for work and having to pick up extra slack a little. Mind you, this was just venting, and I honestly love any extra time I get with the kids. Well, my current wife decided to text my ex-wife, basically calling her out as a bad mom and telling her to pick up the slack. I didn't really feel that way and felt it was out of place for her to do that. Since then, the relationship between current and ex-wife has not been good and basically irreparable. They're professional, but my current wife hates my ex, with very little cause in my book. We had to sit separately for my son's graduation 2 years ago, but sat together this year for my daughter's graduation. When it came time to move my daughter into college, I did not want that tension to ruin my daughter's bonding moment with her mom. College move-in day can be very emotional. I asked my daughter about my wife coming to move in, and she said it might be too many people. Granted, I admit that the way I asked the question was a little leading, but the tension between my ex and current wife is well known in the family. My wife wasn't invited to move in, and my ex and I moved my daughter in separate cars, and only for a few hours. We did the same thing for our son last year. My wife didn't go because she was working. My current wife was livid, and weeks later it's still a sore spot and led to another blow-up last night, somewhat related to this. I admitted to my wife that it was a mistake and apologized. Am I the asshole for not having my wife move my daughter into college with her mom and I? For your kids-centered events. Your kids' views need to take priority, not your wife's petty feelings, not the asshole for not inviting. You are the asshole for apologizing to her, as it should still be your daughter's decision. Your wife sounds jealous of your ex and is stirring the pot unnecessarily. Your current wife owes everyone a big apology. She also needs to stay in her lane and mind her own business. She had no right to text your ex, nor be invited to the college move-in. You honestly need to mandate couples counseling, as frankly, she sounds awful. If you're not careful, she'll be going after your relationship with your kids next. Not the asshole, but your wife sure is. Who in their right mind would text biomom, calling her a bad mom? I wouldn't want to associate with her, either, if I were the ex. Your wife seems toxic AF. Not the asshole. It wasn't a mistake because it's what your daughter wanted. Your job is to protect her experiences, just like you did. It sounds like your wife might be feeling insecure or jealous of your healthy relationship with your ex. Therapy could help with that. Not the asshole, this is about your daughter. Not your wife. If your daughter doesn't want her there, she needs to realize it's due to her own actions causing tension at previous events that has placed her on the back bench. Dude, has your wife always been so self-centered? And YTF did you apologize? Damn dude, you stick up for your daughter as she moves on to a new stage in life, and you can't even stand by that decision till your wife guilts and beats you down because what you decided isn't in her wife's best interest. You did right by your daughter and can't even see it because it is easier to capitulate to your wife because it sounds like she is used to always getting her own way. Best of luck. Hope she doesn't permanently ruin your relationship with your kids due to her demands. Am I the asshole for yelling my friend out for implying I was trying to be a homewrecker? I, 19 female, am in a group project with 4 other people. Only 2 are important, my friend, and this one guy from our group. The guy and the other 2 live off campus and drive. Me and my friend both live in dorms and do not drive. We had to meet off campus for the project, and the guy offered to drive both of us and meet the others there, as it made the most sense. When we were in his car, I was shotgun, and my friend was in the back, and he drives a small 2-door, so we're all super close to each other. I flipped down the sunblocker to use the mirror, and a Polaroid of him and his girlfriend was clipped to the sunshade, and I said, "Ah, that's cute." Is that your girlfriend? He said yes, and flipped his own sunshade down to reveal another picture. I said, oh, that's so sweet. Trying to be friendly and make small talk, as I would be working with him for at least the next month. I started asking about his GF. Oh, how long have you guys been together? How'd you meet? Does she go to our college? Etc. I thought nothing of it until my friend asked me what the hell that was later. I asked what she meant, and she said that I was clearly being weird. I told her that I didn't understand, and she asked if I would be asking all that if his girlfriend was in the car. I said no, I'd probably ask her instead, and I told her I didn't see her point. I then asked her if she wanted to just never talk to our group mates, and the teacher wasn't really clear on how future projects will work. These groups were randomized, and he implied that we might keep these groups for other projects as well, however I am unsure. She said, yeah, obviously you can get to know them, but don't ask questions about his girlfriend like that, and you used a weird tone, like you were flirting, and that it was kinda disgusting. I told her that she could get out of here with that stupid shit, and that it wasn't that serious, and she told me that she was now further considering I was trying to be a homewrecker, and we have only talked about the project at this point, and it's been a few days, and I'm reconsidering how mean I was to her over something somewhat trivial. You were trying to make polite conversation. Your friend was trying to stir shit. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, she seems ridiculous to me. I don't think those are weird or unfair questions to ask. Not the asshole. Asking about someone's girlfriend is the absolute worst way to flirt I've ever heard of. Not the asshole homewrecker. What a hyperbole. Is this dude married with kids? Sounds like you were making small talk, and are just filling the silence in the car. Regardless, perhaps the other girl is projecting and has some stuff going on in her life. You were right to tell her off. Sounds like your friend was mad you got shotgun. The conversation sounds like regular, get-to-know-you kind of stuff. Not the asshole H. Not the asshole. That's just a ridiculous jump. I honestly thought you were dating a taken man and wanted to complain about her based on the title. But if it's really just her freaking out over basic questions you might ask to anyone based on them showing you extra pictures and enthusiastically answering your questions, then she's definitely in the wrong. Did you ask anything like, do you two get along? Or do you argue a lot? Then she might have a leg to stand on. Am I the asshole for refusing to allow a friend to continue to borrow my car? I, 47F, have a friend, 67F, who has recently become homeless along with her husband, 67M. They're staying with me while working on getting an apartment through a non-profit organization. I have 2 cars. One is a primary vehicle, the other is a backup. I let them borrow my backup car so they could go to appointments, look at apartments, and go to the grocery. They both have steady income from Social Security and a pension, so all I asked is that they keep the car fueled up, pay attention to maintenance issues. It's an old car. Keep it clean and drive safely. After 6 weeks, the car's side lights wouldn't turn off. I had to pull the fuse so the battery wouldn't drain. The car could still be driven in the day, but not at night or in the rain, so I told them, no night driving until I can fix this. The next night they drove it. I was angry because if they cause an accident or get pulled over, it's my ass on the line. When I talked to them about it, they ignored and talked over me. I spent the rest of the next day fixing the electrical problem that her husband caused. A few days later, there was a flat tire, and they couldn't figure out how to open the trunk. So I had to drive to them, open the trunk, and change the tire. I noticed all the tires looked flat, so I checked them. They were all at 1520 psi. It's amazing all 4 tires weren't ruined. I also noticed the gas meter was at the halfway mark. I fill them up when the gas meter is at 3/4. I told them it was time to fill her up. They said okay, sure thing. 4 days later, I went to get something from the car. I noticed a horrible smell and garbage all over my car. As I was cleaning it out, I glanced at the gas meter. Empty. By this time, I was furious. I finished cleaning out my car. The smell was a rotten banana peel under the passenger seat along with remnants of hemp they'd been smoking in my car, and took the car to get refueled. I checked my car's GPS history, and in the past 6 weeks, they looked at 4 upscale apartment complexes that the non-profit organization definitely will not pay for. They refused to consider apartments in poor neighborhoods, which is their only viable option. Every day, they'd gone out to eat, went shopping at department stores, bought groceries at high-end grocery stores, went to smoke shops, and drove around in circles. I did the math and realized they have never put a drop of gas in my car. My capacity to care about their plight is now as dry as my car's gas tank. I trusted them with my car so that they could get back on their feet, not go joyriding and mess up my car. I took the keys and told them they don't get to drive it anymore, and they can take an Uber. Now they're refusing to look at apartments unless I drive them because Uber is too expensive. They still walk to restaurants. I've told them they need to be out in 2 weeks. Apartment, hotel, the street, I don't care. They say I'm being an asshole and a bad friend. So am I? Not the asshole. Allowing them to stay with you was a risky move. Be prepared to have to evict them. It doesn't sound like they plan on leaving anytime soon. Not the asshole, obviously. They are the bad friends and the AHs. Everyone is different about when to fill up. I have to say, 3 of 4 is the highest I've ever heard of. A lot of people do 1/2. I typically do 1/4. But since they knew you'd put gas in it, they never did. So I'd have to say, your mistake was to put any gas in the car. What's the consequence? They run out of gas. Not the asshole. They are taking you for a ride. Stand up for yourself, and you'll be fine. If that makes you a bad friend, so be it. You don't need friends like them. Givers have to set limits because takers have none. Found on Reddit. Not the asshole, these people are takers, they will always be that, and they will go out of their way to make you feel guilty for the situation they put themselves in. You tried to help, they took advantage of said help, and now you are going to have a hard time kicking them out. People like this know the rules that they can use to their advantage. As long as you dump them before they have been there for 30 days after that, it gets real difficult. Good luck. Sorry this happened. You sound like a good person. Not the asshole. You have been so generous, but they abused your hospitality. Under the circumstances, 2 weeks' notice is also generous. Am I the asshole for changing my phone password and refusing to tell my mom? I, 18, fresh out of high school, have been living with my mom so I can save up and pay for my college classes. I recently started seeing my boyfriend, 19, and we've been texting each other a lot, including some intimate things I am incredibly uncomfortable with my mom reading. My mom has always been the type of woman to refuse privacy if she just wants to or has a hunch I'm up to any good. I have tried to set the boundary of staying out of my room, phone, laptop, etc., but to no avail. She has even gotten to a point where I can't even be alone in my room with my boyfriend because it's as inappropriate, and she doesn't want me having sex yet. Recently, after she interrogated me about a slightly sexual text my boyfriend sent, I decided to change my passcode. When she had tried tonight to go through my phone, she discovered this and called me out. I told her I set my boundaries. I have asked nicely, and this is what you get. She then starts yelling 8 to give her my new passcode and threatened to take it away. I pay for my phone and the bill, so she had zero grounds to do so, but when I said that, has escalated further, and she goes on about how I am exactly like my dad. My dad cheated on my mom and abandoned me. Safe to say it rubbed me the wrong way. She's now upset and telling me I can't be trusted. But all I wanted was my privacy. Am I the asshole? Update. She took my door off its hinges while I was working today. I came home to shower and get changed, and when I walked in and tried to close my door, it was fucking gone. WR argued for 45 minutes, and she decided my privacy is shit and damn. I have decided to go on contact, and I am now staying with my boyfriend until further notice. Edit. To clarify, I do mean with the door completely open when it comes to my room. We could be sitting 50 feet apart watching a sermon, and my mom would still see us as being inappropriate. I feel I was confusing when I mentioned not being allowed alone with my boyfriend. I understand having the door open. She just thinks we should stay where everyone can see us. No room, period. I pay for my phone and the bill. This right here makes you not the asshole. If she doesn't want you alone in your room with your BF, in her house, then that's her call. But that phone is yours, and she has no right to it. Your mother needs some serious therapy. Resenting you for something your dad did is wild. If that's how she acted, then I don't blame him. Not the asshole, I'm sorry she said that to you. Passcode everything you can, and change them when you can. But also, if she was threatening to take the phone you pay for away, make sure you have all your important documents, and she has no way of accessing your bank account. Absolutely not the asshole. Your mom needs to learn some boundaries for real. You're an adult, granted still living under her roof, but she's acting like you're 10. I hope you're able to get out of there soon, so not healthy. Know that sentence comparing you to your dad told on her. You don't owe her the transparency of a romantic relationship. You can't. Be just like your dad to her. without her having unhealthy attachments to you. These boundaries are healthier for both of you. Keep setting them. You teach people how to treat you. Not the asshole. I pay for my phone. And the bill. OP, are you sharing a phone plan with mom? Small difference, but important.